I want you to picture the most, I don't know, the most confusing room in your entire house.
Okay.
It is, without a doubt, the most purely functional space you own. I
Yeah.
mean, you go there to scrub your teeth, wash your face, handle, well, biological necessities.
Sure.
It's a machine for hygiene.
It is the workhorse of the home, no question about it.
Exactly. But culturally, we are absolutely obsessed with turning this machine into a sanctuary.
Mm.
We want the spa. We want the retreat. We want that, Zen moment before the chaos of the day starts.
It's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? We expect this room that's basically a plumbing factory to feel like a five-star hotel.
And that gap between the plumbing factory and the five-star hotel, that is where the nightmare begins for most homeowners.
Right.
You look at your cracked tile, the leaky faucet, the grout that never, ever gets white,
Mm-hmm.
and you say, I'm going to remodel.
And then you enter the Thunderdome.
Yes, you hear the stories. The contractor who just vanished with the deposit.
Oh, yeah.
The 2-week project that is now celebrating its first birthday. The budget that doubled because they found surprises behind the wall.
And, it's not just anecdotal. The source material for today's deep dive actually highlights this. Home improvement contractors consistently get the second highest volume of consumer complaints of any industry.
That is a staggering stat. So today, our mission is to figure out why that happens and how to fix it.
Okay.
We are dissecting a comprehensive documentation set from a company called Phoenix Home Remodeling.
And just to be clear, right off the bat, we aren't here to, read an ad for some local Arizona business.
No.
We're using their documentation because it is a perfect case study. They map out a very specific methodology, they call it design build, that creates a roadmap for how a modern renovation should happen.
We're going to get into the weeds today. We're talking about the difference between cement and epoxy grout, why change orders are the enemy of your bank account.
And the terrifying reality of what happens when waterproofing fails.
The dreaded mold sandwich.
We'll get to the mold sandwich.
We will.
Yeah.
But let's start with the system. Why is the bar so low in this industry? Why is it so hard to find someone who just shows up on time?
I think it comes down to barriers to entry. To be a contractor in the loose sense, you often just need a truck, a hammer, and some confidence.
Right.
You have a lot of people who are essentially handymen trying to manage really complex logistics.
The source lists the specific grievances that make people just pull their hair out. Late arrivals, messy workspaces, ghosting. But the biggest one, the one that really hurts, seems to be the financial surprise, the estimate.
This is the crucial distinction the source makes.
Okay.
Most people hire a general contractor based on a bid. The contractor looks at your bathroom and says, yeah, I can do that for, say, $15,000. But that number, it's a guess. It's an estimate based on assumptions.
And when he opens the wall and realizes the plumbing is cast iron from 1950,
That's a change order.
the price goes up.
The price goes up. Or when you pick a tile that's harder to install than he thought, change order. Suddenly, $15,000 becomes $25,000, and you're held hostage because your bathroom is already gutted.
You can't exactly fire them when you have no toilet.
You have no toilet. Exactly.
So how does this design build concept, described in their papers, fix that? Because design build sounds a little like marketing jargon.
It does, but it's actually a structural change in how the project is delivered. In the traditional model, the person designing the space, or you if you're on Pinterest,
Right.
and the person building it are disconnected. In design build, one single entity handles both the design and the construction, but, and this is the key, they plan everything before a single hammer is swung.
The source emphasizes honest fixed pricing. How can they promise a fixed price when they haven't even opened the walls yet? That seems like a magic trick.
It's not magic, it's homework. They do a feasibility study first. They do all the forensic work on paper. They use 3D renderings to figure out exactly where every single pipe, tile, and vanity is going to go. They force you to select every material before demolition starts.
So they aren't guessing what the tile costs. They know exactly which tile I bought, how big it is, how long it takes to cut.
Exactly. By shifting all that planning to the front end, they can give you a fixed price if they're wrong after that.
Yeah.
Well, usually the contractor eats the cost, not the homeowner. It shifts the risk.
That seems like the nugget right there.
Yeah.
If you don't have a fixed price based on a finished design, you don't actually have a budget.
You have a wish.
You have a wish.
You have a gambling habit. And in construction, the house always wins.
Let's walk through the actual workflow they describe, because it's surprisingly rigid. It's a 4-step process. Step 1 is the discovery call.
And notice, they say you have to book an exact time. You don't just call and get whoever's near the phone.
It feels a bit formal for a first interaction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You must speak to our consultation manager. Why the velvet rope?
It's a filter, and a smart one. They want to discuss the budget and the scope before they drive to your house. If you want a $5,000 facelift and they do $30,000 gut renovations, why waste 3 hours of everyone's life?
It says they give a rough price range right on that call. That's rare. Usually, contractors are cagey until they're in your kitchen drinking your coffee.
Transparency saves time. If that call goes well, step 2 is the in-home evaluation. This is where they measure, look at the bones of the house.
Right.
But step 3 is where the magic happens. Planning and design.
And this is the phase where you're paying for the planning itself, right?
Yes. You sign a feasibility and design agreement. You're paying for their brain before you pay for their muscle.
Okay.
You get the 3D renderings, you pick the fixtures, you see the final price.
It's interesting because I think a lot of homeowners hesitate to pay for planning. We just want to pay for doing.
That's the fatal flaw. If you don't pay for the plan, you pay for the mistakes later. Step 3 allows you to build the project virtually. You can change your mind on the tile color in the 3D model for free. Changing it when it's already glued to the wall costs thousands.
And only then do we get to step 4, construction.
Right. And just think about the psychology of that. By the time demolition starts, you aren't stressed about what will this look like or how much will this cost.
You already know.
You already know. Now you're just watching the movie you already wrote.
Okay, speaking of movies, let's talk about the horror movie part of the source material.
Uh-oh.
The technical deep dive, if you will.
The waterproofing section.
The source material has a section that is basically a giant warning label. It says, and I'm quoting, "Shower remodels are the riskiest thing you can do inside your home."
It is not an exaggeration.
Why is a shower riskier than, say, knocking down a wall in the living room?
Because of water. Water is the most destructive force in a home. It is patient and it is persistent. When you build a shower, you are building a box inside your house that you are going to blast with gallons of water every single day.
The text warns explicitly. Don't hire a handyman unless it's simply installing flooring or a vanity.
Because waterproofing is a science of layering. A handyman can create a visual fix. He can make it look like a shower. But if you get the overlap of the waterproof membrane wrong by just an inch, gravity will pull that water behind the tile.
And what happens then?
It wicks into the drywall, it rots the studs, creates mold. And the worst part is you won't see it for 6 months, maybe a year. The tile will look fine, but the wall behind it is turning into mush.
The mold sandwich you mentioned earlier.
Precisely. You're trapping moisture in a dark, warm place. It is a biological hazard waiting to happen.
They also throw some shade at acrylic walls. You know those plastic liners you see in budget renos?
Yeah.
They call it the cheapest way, but say you often pay for it twice.
Because acrylic is a plastic shell. It's glued over the existing wall. The problem is, if that seal breaks, and seals almost always eventually break, water gets trapped between the plastic and the old wall.
And it can't get out.
It can't evaporate. It just sits there, breeding bacteria. It's not a permanent solution. It's a cover-up.
So what is the Phoenix Home Remodeling standard? Yeah. If they aren't using plastic, what are they using to prevent the mushy wall?
They talk about a waterproofing membrane. This usually goes behind the tile. Think of it like wrapping the entire shower area in a rubberized suit before you put the pretty stuff on.
And they mentioned epoxy grout. Now, I thought grout was just grout.
This is a huge deal. Traditional grout is basically cement. It's porous. It absorbs water, which is why it stains and discolors.
Right.
Epoxy is a resin. Once it cures, it's basically plastic. It's waterproof and stain-proof.
But it's harder to work with, isn't it?
Much harder. It sets very fast. If you don't know what you're doing, you'll ruin the tile. That's why handymen hate it and pros love it.
It takes skill.
It takes skill, but it lasts forever.
There's one more test they mentioned that I found fascinating. The flood test.
This is the trust but verify moment. Before they lay the tile on the shower floor, they plug the drain, they fill the pan with water right up to the curb, and they leave it for 24 hours.
Like a bathtub.
Exactly. If you come back the next day and the water level has dropped, you have a leak.
And you fix it now.
You fix it now while it's just a membrane. If you skip this test and you have a leak, you are tearing up $5,000 of tile later to find it.
It seems so obvious, yet I bet very few people ask their contractor, hey, you're going to do a 24-hour flood test.
Almost no one asks. And a lot of contractors skip it because it burns a day of the schedule. But that one day can save you $20,000 down the road.
Speaking of saving or spending money, let's get to the numbers. The source includes an honest cost guide and a timeline. And I have to say, looking at these numbers, I can see why people get sticker shock.
It's a reality check. We all watch these TV shows where they renovate a whole house for $20,000 in a weekend. That's fiction. It's entertainment, not construction.
So lay it out for us. According to this detailed breakdown, how long am I showering at the gym if I do my master bath?
For a full master bath remodel, you are looking at 4 to 8 weeks.
2 months.
And that's if things go well. That's demolition, framing, plumbing, rough-in, electrical, drywall, waterproofing, tiling, painting, fixture installation.
Yeah.
It's a major construction project happening in your bedroom.
And the cost.
For a guest bath, they list the average between $20,000 and $30,000.
Okay.
For a master bath, they quote a range of $40,000 to $60,000 plus.
I can hear our listeners gasping right now. $60,000 for a bathroom.
It is a lot of money. But break it down. You've got skilled labor plumbers, electricians, tile setters are not cheap. You have materials, vanities, stone, fixtures, and you have project management. The source even notes that costs are nowhere near what they were 5 to 10 years ago.
Inflation hits everything. Lumber, labor, shipping.
And complexity. We aren't building basic bathrooms anymore. We're building those sanctuaries we talked about.
Right.
You aren't putting in a $500 drop-in tub. You're putting in a freestanding sculptural piece.
Let's pivot to that, the fun stuff. If I'm spending $50,000, what am I getting? What are the trends they're seeing that justify that investment?
The aesthetic is definitely shifting. For a long time, everything was modern farmhouse. You know, black hardware, white subway tile.
The Chip and Joanna effect.
Right. That's fading. Now, the source points to warmer tones. Champagne bronze for fixtures.
Which is like a soft gold.
Yes. Less brassy, more elegant, and brushed nickel is making a big comeback because it hides fingerprints so well. For cabinets, we're seeing navy blue making a big entrance alongside the whites and grays.
It feels nautical, clean.
But with some personality.
But what struck me in the text wasn't the colors, it was the obsession with functionality. They make a point that a designer might pick something pretty, but if it doesn't work for your life, it's a failure.
This is the difference between a photo shoot and real life. My favorite example from their list is the hairdryer drawer.
I highlighted that too. Explain how that works, because it sounds like a game changer for clutter.
Okay. Picture your bathroom counter. It's probably covered in cords, hairdryer, straightener, electric razor. It's a mess.
Always. It ruins the vibe.
The hairdryer drawer has an electrical outlet built inside the drawer. You leave the tool plugged in, you open the drawer, use it, and you close the drawer. The cord never touches the counter.
That is such a small detail that completely changes the daily experience of the room.
It eliminates visual clutter, and that's what makes it feel like a spa. A spa isn't just about nice tile, it's about the absence of mess.
They also mentioned backlit mirrors and wall sconces.
Again, functionality. Overhead lighting, those can lights in the ceiling, they cast shadows onto your eyes. They make you look tired.
Right.
Backlighting or wall sconces provide face-level light. It's flattering. It makes you feel better about yourself at 6 a.m.
And for the high rollers, the freestanding bathtub.
The sculptural centerpiece. With the floor-mounted faucet. It just says, I have space and I have time to soak. It's a status symbol as much as it is a plumbing fixture.
And one detail that caught my eye. Chrome shower heads and brass valves for temperature control.
That's that functionality again. You want the water to be the exact right temperature the second you step in. No freezing, no scalding.
But even with the fancy tub and the hidden hairdryer, the process of remodeling is inherently stressful. Strangers in your house for 2 months. How does this methodology handle the communication aspect?
This is where the industry is finally catching up to the rest of the world. They call it the Uberification of remodeling.
Meaning we can track it on our phone.
Exactly. They use a client portal. You log in, you see the calendar, you see photos from the job site that day, you see the daily log.
That seems huge for trust. If I'm at work, I don't have to wonder if the tile guy showed up. I can just check the app.
And it centralizes communication. I mean, how many times has a project gone off the rails because of a lost text message? Oh, I thought I texted you that I wanted the blue grout. In the portal, it's all documented. It keeps everyone accountable.
Protects both sides.
It does, and that leads right into their warranty.
Which is a 2-year warranty on labor and workmanship.
which is solid.
Yeah.
But there's a nuance in the text that I really liked. It says, in the unlikely event something came up after 2 years, we're still here to help you.
They don't block your number.
Right. They'll charge you for the labor and materials, obviously, but they won't say, good luck, find a stranger. They acknowledge that they dealt it, so they know how to fix it. That continuity is valuable.
So we've gone from the nightmare of the guy with a truck to this very structured, almost scientific design-build process. If we have a listener sitting in their car right now thinking about their own 1990s bathroom, what's the core lesson here?
The lesson is that the process is more important than the product.
Unpack that.
You can buy the most expensive marble in the world. If you hire a contractor with a bad process, no planning, no waterproofing tests, no communication, that marble is going to end up in a dumpster in 3 years because of a leak.
So don't shop for the tile first. Shop for the methodology first.
Exactly. Interview your contractor about how they work. Do they use fixed pricing? Do they use 3D rendering? Do they flood test? If they look at you like you're crazy for asking, that's not your guy.
It's about professionalizing the transaction.
Yeah.
We are spending $50,000. We should expect a professional workflow.
We wouldn't accept this chaos in any other purchase. Imagine buying a car and the dealer saying, the price is $30,000, but it might be $45,000 if the engine is harder to install than we thought.
We would walk out.
Run.
I want to close with a sentiment from the source material that I found really grounding. It says, the bathroom is where we start the day and where we decompress at night.
The bookends of your life.
It really makes you think about the return on investment. It's not just about resale value. It's about your state of mind. If you start your day fighting a drawer that sticks and looking at moldy grout, you carry that frustration with you.
And if you start your day in a clean, well-lit, organized space where everything just works, you walk out the door feeling ready.
The environment dictates the mindset. So, is the stress of a bad bathroom costing you more than the renovation would? That's the question we'll leave you with.
Something to mull over in the shower tomorrow.
Thanks for diving in with us on the wild world of waterproofing and remodeling. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Take care.